Hey guys, starting today, Unit 4, we are going to go over some prerequisite information. Most of this you should know, but maybe on the volume formulas, some things that aren't as fresh in your memory anymore. Pythagorean theorem, remember, you're going to use this to solve for a missing side of a right triangle. Okay, and that's our formula, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And please remember that the c is the hypotenuse value. Okay, c squared is your hypotenuse value. All right, now with area formulas. Okay. Area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. And just to give you some visual reference, I mean, I know you know this, but right triangles are nice because the base is quite literally the bottom of the triangle and the height is the vertical. But when we have off-shaped triangles, the height is going to be the straight distance down. Or when we have, say, an equilateral or a triangle like this, base is all the way across the bottom, but height is that vertical distance straight down. Okay, a rectangle is length times width, and I know you all know what a rectangle looks like. Okay, but keep in mind a square classifies as a rectangle. Okay. Circle, area is equal to pi r squared, where r stands for the radius. And remember, radius, is the distance halfway across the circle. So from the center across, that's your r. Trapezoid, we are going to do some stuff with trapezoids, not in this current unit, but I saw an opportunity to go ahead and give you this formula. It's 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times the height. So we find the average base length because there are technically two bases. You find the average base length and multiply it by the height. Okay, so okay, and a trapezoid can look like this as well. You still have base 1, base 2, and your height. Okay, so there's your generic area formulas, all of which you have to have memorized. And I know that's the crummy part about this class, is there's a lot of formulas and all of them have to be memorized. There is no reference sheet for the AP exam. And again, ultimately, that's what we're going for, guys, is we're practicing to test on the AP exam. Volume of a cube is length times width times height. Okay. Cylinder is one that many forget. Volume is pi r squared times the height. And here's why. That's the formula for a cylinder. So a cylinder, you have a circular top, and then technically a circular bottom. Well, you're quite literally taking this circle, and you're replicating it over the height. So think about if you took a like canned corn, like a food can, and you sliced it, you would have a whole bunch of circles all stacked on top of each other, making up the height. So the pi r squared is the area of the top circle, and you're going to multiply it by how many circles make up that cylinder. A sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. I cannot draw a three-dimensional sphere. I'm sorry. I know it all has to do with the shading and blah, blah, blah. So we're going to pretend that that's a ball. And there's my shade underneath. Okay, so the pi r cubed part, pi r squared is area of a circle. But we're turning this into a three-dimensional shape. That's where the cube is coming from, because I don't have a height in a sphere. And then the 4/3 is the fact that the circle in the center of the sphere is larger, and it's gradually getting smaller and smaller and smaller in each direction. So that 4/3 has to do with the fact that your circle is slowly getting smaller. Okay, and a similar concept with a cone. Volume equals 1/3 pi r squared h. Hello.
How's your day?
Pretty good. So here, pi r squared is the area of the bottom circle. Height is how tall we're taking the cone, and then the 1/3 is the fact that those circles are getting smaller and smaller and smaller until we reach the tip of the cone. And last but not least, similar triangles. Please remember that with similar triangles, the side lengths are proportional and the angles are equivalent. And if you forget what proportional means, proportional, like for example, this is just a random example. Okay, a 3, 4, 5 triangle versus a 6, 8, 10 triangle. They're proportional because one triangle is half the size of the other. Equivalent is in reference to the angles, in that top angle, each set of angles are exactly the same size as the other set. Right? For this lesson, there is no homework. Just make sure that you start reviewing these formulas so that you have them memorized. And